channel. All our shows broadcast live on YouTube at SA Sports Star. Go ahead, like, subscribe. Jacob Eric already in the comments. Let's do this. Appreciate you. I accidentally started the wrong stream first. So make your way over to the YouTube channel, jump on in, get a part of the show. This is fantastic. I love the fact that football season is coming in full force, and we finally got right there as the blitz ended, a fantasy football question, as you know, start planning your fantasy drafts. That's coming up very quickly now as we start looking for who's going high, who's going late, where can you get a steal? Can you find that late round 1,000-yard double-digit touchdown guy? Found a couple of them last year in Tank Dell and Nico Collins. It's just very exciting when it's so close to football season and everybody just feels like the season's anew, except for the Dallas Cowboys, because there is still a distaste in people's mouths from how last season ended and how this offseason has gone in terms of nothing. Even the things they said they were going to do, they haven't done. So there's probably going to be a lot more cautious of a buy-in from Cowboys fans this year than we've seen in recent years. And that's not to say that it's not still going to be a good team. Lord willing, if they're healthy, they've got a top 3-4 receiver. They've got a top 10 quarterback. They've got a top edge rusher. They've got a top 10 corner. They've got positional value scattered across that lineup still. Depth in a few positions are your question marks. And so Stephen Jones goes on the Scoop City podcast today and does a whole lot of what they've done at each talking point. We want to get Dak done. We want to get these deals done. We're waiting. We're trying to get this done. It's a complicated process. You can't pay everybody top of the market money. You can. It's hard, but you can, and you have to make complicated decisions when you do something like that. A DeMarcus Lawrence may not be back, but hopefully a Marshawn Nealand is a guy that can slide into that position on the other side of Micah, and you don't have to worry about that. You have to get more contributors from the rest of your roster, and you have to start finding deals in free agency that are below market value. You have to be able to supplement. And the Cowboys have done none of that. So what they're relying on is a jump from a second-year player like Amazi Smith, which, to be fair, they should. He was a first-round draft pick. They expected a lot from him. It sounds, with how they've been talking about things, that he was miscast in Dan Quinn's scheme, and Mike Zimmer, him playing at a correct way and playing more instead of attacking, is gap filling, is more suiting to his style. And if it suits his style better, then maybe, just maybe, you will get the Mozzie Smith that you expected last year, just being in a better scheme and something that it fits his play style. Brian and Eric Kendricks, who's familiar with a Mike Zimmer and that defense, and you've got a defense that has led the league in turnovers for the last few years. Now the question becomes, do those turnovers that they generated go away and out the door with a Dan Quinn? And what's more important to you? Is it the turnovers or is it the stops? Because there's going to be a give and take. But the biggest question goes over to the offensive side of the ball. How comfortable are they with Cooper Beebe starting from day one? Because we know Tyler Guyton is starting day one. First round draft pick. He was their tackle of the future. He is taking over. And he is going to just slide in right there where Tyron Smith was. Right next to one of the best guards in the game in Tyler Smith. So is Cooper Beebe starting day one at center? Or is Brock Hoffman going to be your starting center while Cooper Beebe gets up to speed? And how much does that affect Dak Prescott? How much does that affect the passing game? Because there hasn't been much of a run game. And with this running back crew that they have, I don't expect a big year from the running game this year. I expect more consistency in short yardage situations, though, which is somewhere they struggled last season. Red zone, short yardage. They now have the hammer that they need. And Zeke Elliott will be very pivotal in helping that young offensive line, being that extra blocker in the backfield. But this feels like the Cowboys have been written off, when in actuality, I'm not sure a whole bunch of teams have come up enough to catch them just from the talent on their roster to begin with. This was a really good team. It only lost a couple of pieces, and those pieces weren't the most important ones. Some better luck, maybe some better preparation, maybe a better scheme ends in a different outcome in the postseason. But there is this feeling of apathy and disgruntlement amongst Cowboy fans, it feels, from how the season ended to what's happened since the season ended. And I'm wondering how long until we can finally push all those feelings out the door. Or maybe it is finally getting a contract or two done during training camp to solidify the future of the franchise and maybe start to push things in a positive direction for them. One team that's been pushing things in a positive direction all offseason has been the Houston Texans, who left with a very, very good feeling getting to the playoffs, getting a playoff win, even though they didn't compete against the Ravens as well as you expected. They went into the offseason with a plan and completely feel like they have flipped it on its head and are now one of the darlings to compete this season in the AFC. Can they meet those expectations? Well, we'll hear from some of the players from today's media session, and I'll let you know my thoughts as we get ready for the season right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 941 FM, sasportstar.com. This is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star and the Gomez Law Firm present the first annual Back to School Drive, Saturday, August 3rd, from noon till 2 p.m. while supplies last at Gomez Law Firm, 2943 Moss Rock Drive. Free backpacks and school supplies for all school-aged children, only while supplies last, so don't be late. Saturday, August 3rd, from noon to 2 p.m. at Gomez Law Firm, 2943 Moss Rock Drive. Presented by the Gomez Law Firm and in part by ProStar Home Care Services, Sonora Bank, Las Palabas, and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Attention, if you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance. And you better watch out, because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They are experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and will fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-970-3199. That's 800-970-3199. 800-970-3199.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more. And then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow. Maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6580. That's 800-583-6580.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Look no further than the I-10 Ice House, your neighborhood sports headquarters with over a decade of excellence. Catch every thrilling moment on massive 10-foot screens, whether it's the big game or that must-see pay-per-view event. And don't miss out on their daily happy hour specials. I-10 Ice House has daily happy hour specials that'll keep your spirits high and your wallet happy. The best seats are at I-10 Ice House on 9518 Console Drive near Wurzbach in 10. Proudly serving our community for over 10 years. I-10 Ice House.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
It's Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. Don't forget, we've got the Rangers. We're just sitting in third place right now in the AL West. They're coming up as they open up a series at home against the Baltimore Orioles, bottom of the hour. The Houston Texans have been media darlings this year. And for a fan such as myself, in terms of the expectations that have been lofted towards this team, and I understand why. I understand the play last season. I understand the quarterback being a key piece. I understand the moves they made in the offseason. Everything says that this should be a Super Bowl caliber competitor. It is weird to hear that team mentioned in that vein, because I've never felt that the Houston Texans have ever been a legit Super Bowl contender. Maybe if things break right type of. But when Brady was running the AFC, none of those Matt Schaub teams, none of the J.J. Watt teams, not even the Deshaun Watson teams, ever felt like a legitimate Super Bowl threat to start off a season. With the moves that they made, this feels like a roster that is loaded up for an actual run at it. And Nick Caserio was at the podium, and he talked, and as a lot of them did, about those increased expectations that surround this team.
Yeah, I think anything that's really discussed outside of the building doesn't really have any relevance to us. So, I mean, I think that's honestly all for y'all to have fun with. And for the guys at 610 to talk about on the radio, I mean, you know, we're not going to spend any time on things that really, quite frankly, don't matter. I mean, our expectations are for the players is to come in, have a good attitude, put a good foundation in place, be a great teammate, be resilient, because we're going to face some things as a team. We're going to face some things individually, and put the best version of yourself on the field each day. So, I mean, the results will take care of themselves. So what's said outside of the building, I mean, it has no impact on anything that we do. Talking never won games, expectations never won games. Good football and good execution win football games. So ultimately, that's what it's going to come down to. So the rest of it, honestly, it's a big waste of time for us to spend time on things that don't matter or that we don't control. We're going to focus on the controllables, focus on the things that we can do on a day-to-day basis, focus all of us on being the best versions of ourselves. What can we do to help the team? And as a player, what can you do to be a great teammate and just maximize your performance and put yourself in a position so you have an opportunity to be competitive on the field on Sunday? So that's where our focus is on a day-to-day basis.
And you hear that rhetoric from a lot of coaches, general managers throughout multiple teams throughout the league. There's something about the way the Texans say it. It feels like they not only preach it, but believe in it. And that they come in with a singular goal in mind. And last year was the buying in of that. And why? Because it never seemed to have wavered last year. Now, one of the big questions last year for the Houston Texans was their offensive line. I've mentioned multiple times how it just was decimated with injuries from the jump before the season even started. And CJ Stroud still managed to have that kind of a year behind that kind of uncertainty, behind that type of an offensive line. D'Amico Ryans was asked today about where that offensive line is this year as it's coming into camp healthy.
From our offensive line, during these first 2 days, I've already seen growth from last year. Just the continuity of how these guys are working together, how they're moving off the ball much faster. I think Coach Strasser has done a great job of getting the guys going, and they're playing like a complete unit already in the first 2 days. So I'm excited to continue to see the growth that they have, and I'm just expecting them to come out and give their best, every single day, and their best will be good enough for us.
And part of that may be that growth came from last year where a lot of guys were thrust into situations and they had to learn on the fly as the season went on. And now there's growth that happened from the season that they are carrying over into this off season, and now with a healthy line. And what you're hearing about the reports with Kenyon Green, a stable line could make this offense and take it to the next level just as much as a Stephon Diggs, just as much as a Joe Mixon. And Joe Mixon was asked about CJ's comment yesterday about the 5-headed monster that they potentially have in Houston with Mixon himself. And then you got Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz, Nico Collins, and Stephon Diggs. And he said that's nothing new for CJ.
I honestly don't think CJ is lying. I mean, I feel like everybody over here agree with that. I think that we have a lot of great talent on this here offense and really on the team. And in terms of the comparing and contrasting, I'm not here to, want to compare my team compared to Cincinnati's, old teams. But I've definitely been on a championship team before, and I know what it's like. I know what it takes to get there, and I feel like we have no doubt we have the best talent that I've seen here, in a long time. And I honestly feel like the team that we have here, I know that we're ready to, go for that long run, man. But at the end of the day, we just gotta, take it 1 week at a time, 1 day at a time, and everything else will take place.
Already fitting in with the mantra as Joe Mixon talks about the talent that is on this roster. And part of that talent is a rookie from last year coming into his second year that had his season cut short due to injury, being Tank Dell, who was on pace for over 1,000 yards and was an electric target for CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans. And there's a concern when you start talking about Mixon, Diggs, Tank, Schultz, Nico Collins. Are there too many mouths to feed to legitimately be able to keep all of these weapons happy as the season goes on?
First off, CJ was in college with like 5 number 1 receivers in the league right now. So it's like we know what it come with. We know what CJ capable of. We know what Coach Slowick capable of. He's going to call the plays for everybody to dial it up. And I just feel like with that, it's going to be like everybody going to have games. I feel like one game he might be hot, or next game he hot. This game, both of them might be hot. You never know. So it's just we got so many monsters. Like CJ said, 5-headed monsters that we could just come at people like in different ways.
And that's going to be very, very interesting to see how they balance all of those egos and all of that. But the biggest thing is Danielle Hunter on the other side of Will Anderson on that defensive line. That's going to be very, very detrimental to opposing quarterbacks, and that may be one of the biggest additions they had. This has been Extra Innings with Pleasure. I appreciate y'all for joining me this evening. We got Rangers and Orioles coming up next right here on your home for the Texas Rangers, San Antonio Sports Star. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
94-1. What's that? Will Dallas' Dak Prescott get his new contract for his birthday during training camp in Oxnard? We're there, and if he does, you'll hear about it first. San Antonio Sports Stars coverage of Dallas Cowboys training camp, sponsored by AA Best Bell Buns and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. Live all week from Oxnard, California, starting Monday morning, July 29th. South Texas, home of the